The competition markets as public spaces was conducted by Everyday City Lab and featured on the Decoding Everyday portal. In this competition, we invited entries to observe, record, and analyze the simple selling spaces in India that people frequent for their day to day needs. The entries explored the questions around interdependencies between different stakeholders, patterns of movement, social behavior, business relationships embedded, space making, garbage systems, the impact of mall culture, and many more such questions. The idea was to know about the cultural shopping behavior and the everyday experiences that make our shopping environments. Of the multiple entries that we received, 11 have been featured here on the Decoding Everyday portal. Today, we have here with us the winners of the competition to share their thoughts on this theme.
And we have here with us the winning participants. We have Bhuvna and Yukta, who won the first prize for their entry titled Cocoon Market, which is based in Ramanagara, which is also known as the Silk City. So to begin with, can you please introduce yourselves?
So
Hi, I'm Yukta. I'm an architecture student, right now in 5th year.
hi, I'm Bhuwana. I'm an engineer, graduated engineer, and I'm a research paper writer.
Great. Thank you for your introduction. So can you tell us about your understanding of these theme markets as public spaces through the perspective of your entry? How did the initial idea come to you?
So our native was Ramnagar. So we have been seeing this market often, like whenever we visit Ramnagar. It's an age-old market. It's been from 1970s, and even till today, it's been functioning very, very well.
So when Yukta started to make started thesis on that market, we were like, yeah, we know this market. And when we started researching on it, we got to know many more things about it, like the challenges, the intricate things. As we know, as children, we used to just go to market and see the simple, as you said, selling and buying business. But as we researched and got to know more about it, we got to know what exactly lies in the market, and we got our own perspectives towards the market. That's what is reflected in the entry, is what we can say.
In this market, the buyers are the reelers, and then these sellers are these farmers. So these farmers, they sell these cocoons, which is produced from these silkworms, and then these reelers buy it, then they reel it, and then the next process takes place, and then the final output is the weaved and dyed sarees.
Right. Okay, that's great to know. So since you have visited this market since your childhood, wherever you went to your native place, do you see any challenges over there that you think need to be tackled? Because you've also researched this place.
Yeah. See, first thing is these farmers, they just not come by the nearby vicinity. They also come from different states like Andhra, Tamil Nadu, everywhere. Because this is an auction hall, and this is huge. So they get great. I mean, for per kg
the accommodation,
of
basically. Right. That's the main challenge. They go and find a place to rest or freshen up. There's no minimum hygiene place for drinking water facility or anything. It's there, but it's not like a proper organized thing, because they're going to spend more number of time in the market, because they come from a far place. They'll come overnight or the fortnight, like before hand only they come and stay. They stay and they start their auction. They get prepared for the auction right early morning itself. So major thing was accommodation.
Yeah, so they lack this accommodation place. So they sleep on the crates, the selling crates itself.
Right.
That is one observed issue. And one more thing is the traffic. This is present on Bangalore-Mysore highway. So there is a lot of traffic congestion which happens. And when these prices crash down, right now it's 900 per kg. But when it crashes down, farmers go on strike. So that happens on the road. So that creates a lot of traffic congestion. So that even the parking needs to be tackled in this market. And one more observed thing.
Major thing is it's Asia's largest market. It deserves a larger area to be very frank.
Okay.
And Yukta actually designed she took a new area wise 3 times bigger, and that was meeting the all the requirements actually. So right now it needs so much. It's only in the 2 acres, I guess. So it needs 8.5 acres actually to meet all the requirements and for the comfortable working of the market. That's one more major thing.
So when you said that if it were to be shifted to another place, it would meet all the requirements. Can you briefly just tell what these requirements are? Like, is it accessibility? Is it just about the space, or is it including that accommodation, hygienic and clean environment provision? What all requirements are there?
Right now, even the government involvement, there are like, even the government has to take part in the market, like government office spaces, even they need to be in the market so that they can take the control of the they can overlook the market, and there needs to be these testing labs, so these cocoons are tested, so that has to be there. And spaces for other so there is one community, weaving community,
in the same room, you know, right now. But Yukta, like when they actually government has allotted one more place like to shift and make it more high tech. But like what we observed is there's no separate things for, like Yukta said, the separate lab place, separate office for government officials and or whoever official who visits the market. There's no separate place for them, and there's no separate accommodation place exactly for them. And for farmers, there's no easy hospitals, emergency first aid rooms, and ATMs, banks, emergency transaction things. They have to move, like from market, they have to come out of the market and search for such things. We thought if we include everything in under one roof, which actually we did plan, and that's what the thesis is all about. And easy transportation of the truck, like exactly where they come, unload, go park, wait for the again one more load, you know, to load back and move. There's a separate road for that. We can make a separate line for that, and farmers and dealers, because they more number of people visit the market at the same time.
And even encourage the shop frontages. Right now in the market there are many shops which go hand in hand with the market, so even provide a larger space for them to interact with the frontage.
Right. Yeah. So since you also mentioned that it also requires the participation of government in the functioning of this market. Besides that, how do you think, like whatever information that you've just shared, municipality or let's say a resident welfare association, an NGO, or even if there's a community of the dealers and the people who sell these things, how can these communities get involved in bringing about this change?
Ma'am, to be very frank, actually they have to speak. They don't know whom you have to approach. First of all, when we spoke to them, that's what we really got to know. Because when we asked, you know, there's a allotted place, you're going to shift this market. They're going to shift this market. The government has allotted place. They're like, oh yeah, really? We didn't know about this. Many told that. So the lack of the information they get about their own market, like where they visit. One day they may come to the same old market and find that it has disappeared suddenly. They don't know where it has shifted also. Even that might happen. So the basic thing is to educate them exactly what's happening. They have to get to know. And they have to know where to go, whom to approach. The government officials should be more approachable, should be present there for all their needs, basically. And they have to specifically mention what they really want. Like they have to ask, like, we need an accommodation space, or we need that. Like they have to specify, like, because we were researching, we were asking them question again and again, they would come up with these problems. On and all, if they just make a group of themselves, discuss about all this, and then take up to a government level, to be much more useful for them.
Right. So thank you so much for sharing your insights. Just one more question. So do you recollect any other entries from the Decoding Everyday portal that intrigued you about markets and as public spaces?
Yeah, so there was one nice sketch which was submitted. So It spoke about the animals' involvement in market, and then it showed the different user groups. That was a nice. And one more entry was along the lake edge. So that was also an interesting. And one more entry spoke about the supply chain system, which happens in a larger scale. These were interesting.
Bhavana, do you have any other entries that intrigue you, or these ones?
Yeah, like we got new perspective of things. Like we got to know more about markets from many other places, like Charminar markets. We knew about it, but we got to see how it really looked, what's actually present from Ahmedabad or around our country itself. It's been, and how malls are affecting the market, but still we can say in cities like Bangalore, some kind of traditional things actually work. So when people get up and go, they have to go to KR market, otherwise they'll be distorted. They can't shift their interest to malls all of a sudden. I know malls are creating trouble, but I think the traditional markets which have their own authentic touch will stay for long. And that is also mentioned in one of the entries. I saw that about malls disturbance, and yeah, and how constrained markets which are located in small areas do make a huge difference, and how footpaths also, even in footpaths, they just create one market all of a sudden, and still it works in that chaos itself. That we observed few of the points.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. I think with your entry as well, I think it was a very different and unique perspective, because some person might have heard that cocoon market exists, but nobody knows the dynamics of it, and it happens at such a large scale. We don't know. We, like you said, that when you also went there as a child, or whenever you went there, you only saw what the buyer and the seller interactions were like, but there's so many more things that happen in the background that we also need to be aware about. They themselves are engaging in it, and they've been engaging in this for a long time. So there's like you also said, that they have come up with some systems of their own that works, because of which, even if the mall culture has come about, these Indian public markets, street markets, they are not going out of the picture. They are still existing. They are also trying to survive, which is but they also come with a few challenges of their own. And every now and then we listen to some news that this vendor or this market was evicted from their place, and there's the vendors go on strike. The residents around are facing a problem, because what used to be very close to them has now gone, so they have to travel as well. So these dynamics need to be understood, and the different stakeholder participations need to be accounted for, and they need to be taken care of in order for these markets to function as well. So thank you so much for joining today and for participating in this discussion. It was really nice to know from you, to hear you share about your thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity and for appreciation. That it really boosted our confidence.
That's great to know.